My name is Scott Brown with Brown Equipment Company. We are a heavy equipment dealer that's been in business since 1968. We specialize in street and sewer maintenance equipment. We service the states of Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio, and Michigan. Today, we're going to talk about the Global Environmental Products M3 purpose-built mechanical street sweeper. This is a three-wheel design that is purpose-built from the ground up in California. The benefits of a purpose-built machine is that we do not have any of the compromises associated with a street sweeper that is mounted on a commercially available chassis. The Global Environmental Products M3 purpose-built street sweeper occupies a unique place in the market. This is the only machine on the market that is a three-wheel design that is front steer with front center seating position. This gives the operator the best visibility in the market, and with our standard backup camera, it truly gives them 360-degree visibility. Starting at the front of the machine, we have our flip-up fiberglass hood. Underneath, you will find 4 items for the operator to maintain and check. We have our windshield washer fluid levels. We can sight check our brake fluid levels, as well as we have our AC cab filter and our AC condenser. We keep these items at the front of the machine because it is the cleanest environment. With our spray bar underneath, it helps create a curtain of water that keeps the dust and debris behind the machine, leaving these items clean. Starting off with the door on the cab, you'll notice that we have a full glass design, and it is on a black powder-coated stainless steel frame that increases the longevity of this door. Moving to the inside of the cab, first thing operators will notice is that we have an automotive style wraparound dash that gives all of our controls within easy reach of the operator. Our steering wheel comes standard as tilt and telescoping for operator comfort. Our go pedal is an electronic drive-by-wire, much like an automotive style pedal. This reduces operator fatigue and helps them maintain a constant speed for longer periods of time with increased comfort. Standard, the unit comes with a spring suspension high back seat with dual armrests for operator comfort. As an available option, we do have an air ride suspension seat. Next to that, we do have a buddy or a training seat, great for cross-training your operators in the field. Underneath that is a lockable storage compartment where we can keep extra tool supplies and manuals. The cab is heated and air conditioned, but it is also pressurized. The operator should be as clean at the end of the day as they are when they get in the cab first thing in the morning. So with our pressurized cab, we keep as much of the dirt, dust, and debris out of the cab while operating the unit. We also have sound insulating panels to increase operator comfort and also helps reduce the heat gain inside the cab. Creature comforts for the operator include AM/FM Bluetooth stereo system, as well as we provide USB charging ports. Moving on to build quality and fit and finish materials that we use on this machine, we'd like to first point out the fact that Global Environmental Products powder coats all of its steel and aluminum parts. So with the powder coat finish, it's scratch resistant and has a great durability in this sort of environment. Also, other items that we use is we like to use fiberglass panels where we can in areas that don't require a lot of strength and we just have covers. Fiberglass panels reduce the weight of the machine, and they also reduce areas where we have potential for rust down the line. So areas that we use the fiberglass panels are these sail panels that cover the elevator system, the front hood on the machine. We have these covers that go over the gutter broom lift cylinders, as well as the lid on top of the hopper. All sub-assemblies are blown apart, sandblasted, powder coated, and then assembled. We do not paint anything that has already been assembled. All of our bolts, we use grade 8 zinc coated bolts, so that way it gives us the strength and longevity to keep the machine looking nice, and again, reducing areas where we would have potential rust streaks or corrosion down the line. A quick note on regular maintenance with this machine. Global Environmental Products implements what we like to call strike zone maintenance. So we like to keep all of our regular maintenance items and checks kind of within this range on this unit. So employing with that, we have remote grease points on every item on this machine. For example, we have a remote grease block for all of our grease points for the front suspension system. We even have remote grease points for our shock absorber assembly here for the gutter broom. And then behind this panel here, we have the optional remote daily grease block. So these are 9 to 11 grease points that the operator has to hit daily. We keep them in one location, so all they have to do is come to this one block and grease every single one of those points every day, and the operator knows that he's good to go. Moving on to the sweep gear on the Global Environmental Products M3, the first point we will talk about is the gutter broom. Gutter brooms are important because they are the primary scrubbing force on the street sweeper. We use all steel tines, and they are the most aggressive sweeping component on this unit. This is the largest diameter gutter broom in the sweeping industry at 47 inches in diameter. So that means we have more broom on the ground with every rotation of the machine, giving us more effective cleaning power. This broom is available with two different broom configurations. Here we have a 12 segment clip-on gutter broom, does not require any standard hand tools to change. Also available, we have a 4-section bolt-on gutter broom. These gutter brooms are what we call a leading digger type design, which is a more aggressive sweeping pattern. They are able to swing in and out of the way in the instance that they do hit something that cannot be moved, like a hydrant or a raised curb line, without doing any damage to the broom itself. Our gutter broom motors are direct drive. Also important to note on these is that these have a built-in relief valve. So that way, if the broom does strike something, the hydraulic relief happens at the motor and does not have to wait for the main relief on the hydraulic system to open. Adjusting the angle of the gutter broom on the Global Environmental Products M3 is made easy with two different options. The first option is just a manual pivot rod that we use. And we also have the availability of an electronic rototilt, so the operator can, from inside the cab with a rocker switch, rotate the gutter broom in or out. Moving to the main broom and the elevator system on the Global Environmental Products M3 is a prime example of the advantage of having a purpose-built mechanical street sweeper as opposed to one that is mounted on a commercially available chassis. The main broom and the elevator system are mounted forward of the rear axle and will minimize the side-to-side swing that you typically get with either a rear steer 3-wheel mechanical street sweeper or a chassis mount mechanical. The broom itself on this machine is an 18-piece strip broom. The advantage here is we get longer life out of these brooms, and they are easier to ship and easier to store. A standard option we have available is the 1-piece Vanguard style broom. With the Vanguard style broom, we do pair that with a easy quick change main broom assembly here, which without any tools, we're able to swing away these items and change the broom easily by sliding it out and sliding the new one in. Moving to our dirt shoe assemblies. These are a standard poly dirt shoe that are on 3 pivot rods and move up and down in a parallelogram design. The only weight on the dirt shoe itself is the dirt shoe. This is how we get extended life out of these. These come standard with a 1,000-hour wear guarantee. With their kickback design, they are also able to handle any objects in the road and move up and out of the way easily, like raised manhole lids, curbs, or any other foreign objects that we might encounter. We are actually able to reverse the machine with all of our sweep gear down. Typically speaking, any machine that has the dirt shoe assembly out behind the machine, you are not able to back up because they are not supported properly and can easily be damaged if they encounter any objects while reversing. Our elevator design consists of hardened steel sprockets, steel cable reinforced belts, and 11 elevator squeegee assemblies. The elevator squeegee assemblies are easily removed simply by loosening 2 nuts on each side of the elevator. You can then easily take that to your workbench for disassembly, maintenance, and repair. Our sprockets are hardened faced and split design. This is easy for maintenance because we're able to remove 1/2 of the sprocket at a time and change the entire sprocket assembly without having to remove the elevator belts. Our elevator shafts are also a split design in the middle. That means we do not have to remove the shafts entirely for replacing the elevator belts. So our elevator assembly is a rocker design, meaning that it rests on a pivot up front. So that way, when we're driving and sweeping and we encounter something like a raised manhole cover, the bottom of the elevator hits it, simply rocks up, you drive over the object, and then it'll settle back into place without doing permanent damage to any of the components. Also, on this pivot design, our elevator system is actually rubber isolated, reducing the harmonic vibration that operators typically associate with an elevator system. Standard equipment with this elevator system is a hydraulically operated leaf gate. From inside the cab, the operator has control of the leaf gate. Basically, what we're doing is opening the bottom of the elevator system to be able to ingest large, bulky, leafy material. The operator is then able to close that from inside the cab and make a second pass to pick up the fines that have been left behind. Here behind the cab is where we have our fuel fill. Our 35-gallon fuel tank is a poly design to eliminate rust and give us increased longevity over steel tanks on these units. This is also another good example of us minimizing and eliminating hydraulic lines that run through the frame rail of the chassis. Here we have the hydraulic block that controls this gutter broom. We simply have a supply line, and then these hydraulic lines just go to a bulkhead fitting in and out of the frame and down to the hydraulic motor. Gone are the days of us running hydraulic lines inside the frame from the front of the machine to the back of the machine. The hopper on the Global Environmental Products M3 Street Sweeper is the largest in its market segment at 5.6 cubic yards. This is a high dump hopper with a 9.5-foot dump height. And as standard equipment, the floor of the hopper and the front wall are stainless steel. We can also do a 100% stainless steel hopper as an option. The hopper on this unit is equipped with 2 safety switches. The first safety switch will set the hydrostat pump to neutral, and the other one will also set the parking brake. This has a 12,000-pound lifting capacity, and we don't want the operator to be able to move this street sweeper with the hopper all the way in the air. To maximize our usable volumetric capacity of this hopper, we also equip it with a hopper load leveling device. This is a device that sits in the opening of the hopper, that as the material gets loaded in, it throws the material to the back of the hopper. So that way we are loading from the rear of the hopper forward, maximizing its usable capacity. The hopper is also equipped with a hydrant flush system. So when we're hooked up to a hydrant at the end of the day and we want to clean the hopper, all we have to do is turn one valve. We also have the capability to do the exact same thing with the elevator system. Utilizing the hopper and the elevator flush system, we can clean out 90% of the material out of both systems in a matter of minutes. Next, we're going to take a look at the power plant in this unit. We standardize on a Cummins 3.8 liter, 130 horsepower, Tier 4 final engine. This is the most powerful engine available in this segment. This unit is also standardized with what was originally an option called the heavy duty sweep package. This basically means that we have a dedicated hydrostat pump for the main broom and the elevator system, maximizing the amount of horsepower to each of those components for sweeping in heavy conditions and sweeping uphill. Moving on to the rear fender of this unit, a quick note about its construction. On both sides, the upper fenders are actually powder-coated aluminum as opposed to steel. Again, this is to reduce weight, but also increase corrosion resistance. In this compartment here is our tool storage compartment and hydrant fill. We store our 15 or optional 25-foot hydrant hose in here. You can keep your hydrant wrench or any other miscellaneous tools that you might need for your job. Our water tank is underneath this cover. It goes down this side, underneath the back of the machine and back up. It is a 220-gallon poly construction water tank. We have low point drains on the water tank, so for easy flushing to remove sediment from the tank itself. Here at the back of the Global M3 purpose-built mechanical street sweeper, there are several things that we like to point out. First are some of our lighting options. So we do have in the hydraulic towers, we have 2 amber LED flashers. Then moving over here, we do have our standard backup camera location. We have our LED arrow stick, and then we have our taillight assemblies. Something I like to point out here is that we have a dedicated light for backup, a dedicated light for our brake lights, and a dedicated light for our turn signal or our 4-way flashers. This is a small but important point because most operators will run their 4-way flashers while operating the machine. And we don't want somebody who's following the street to be confused between the operator putting it on their brakes or just having their flashers on. We also have 2 integrated tie-down points that are in the main frame of the machine, and then 2 convenient jack pad locations as well for making it easy to lift up the rear of the machine for service. For accessing our engine service points and our electric water pumps, we have incorporated a simple one-piece swing-up door. From here, we have instant access to our engine radiator, which is also a swing-out design. And as you can see, we now have open direct access to all of our engine service points, water filters, and electric water pumps. With the rear door swung open, we will notice 2 additional safety switches here. One switch cuts power to the fuel pump for the engine, and the other one interrupts the circuit for the starter. So that if a mechanic or somebody else is doing maintenance back here and somebody hops into the operator cab of the machine and turns the key, the engine starter will not engage, preventing any harm coming to any personnel that are back here doing maintenance or service work. The engine fan on this is a pusher design, meaning that we are pushing air through the radiator this direction as opposed to pulling it. We do this to minimize the amount of dust and contaminants that are being pulled through the radiator and causing clogging issues. If we do have to maintain the radiator swings out for easy access so that we can easily blow compressed air through it on both directions or use low pressure water. We have our engine oil checks, as well as this is where we fill our diesel exhaust fluid on this Tier 4 final Cummins engine. Underneath this plate are where our 2 water pumps reside for our dust suppression system. They are centrifugal style with relief valves built in, both of them at 3.5 gallons per minute. We have a simple screen that's a daily check, as well as a switch that we can hold to purge the water system for easy winterization for either storage or maintenance. With our dual water pump design, the operator is able to select from the cab either a low position on the switch, which will run 1 water pump, or a high position, which will run 2. That combined with ball valves that help us restrict and direct flow to where we need water the most we're able to stay on the job longer in between water fill-ups. Back here is also our engine air filter assembly. There is a restriction indicator on the filter housing itself, as well as an optional air restriction indicator inside the cab, making it easy and convenient for the operator to know the status of his engine air filters. The Global Environmental Products M3 Street Sweeper is equipped with 2 hydraulic tanks. Each tank is integrated into these towers and are interconnected. Each side has 1 sight glass, and we only have to check one to know that we are good to go for the day. We have fill caps on each side of this machine. These will hold 5 psi of pressure. It's important to note that our system is pressurized because that helps minimize any contaminant that we get into our hydraulic system. Inside the rear fender here is our hydraulic systems locker. This is where we maintain 95% of our hydraulic valve bodies. Each one is labeled with its function so that we can easily diagnose and troubleshoot. We put these in a systems locker here so that they will maintain a cleaner environment. At most, these will just get a little bit dusty, and you can come in here with a simple garden hose and rinse out the systems locker and you'll be good to go. This keeps these up and out of the way of dirt and debris that's generated by the gutter brooms, so that when mixed with water, we aren't getting any sort of corrosion on these valve bodies. For additional troubleshooting purposes, in the back part of this compartment, we also have a board with LED lighting on it that shows us which circuits are active and which ones aren't. This helps us diagnose if we have an electrical problem between this box back here and the controls in the cab. Taking a look at the drive axle on this unit, it is important to note that we are the only 3-wheel mechanical street sweeper where we can put an actual suspension on the drive axle. This is important. Our travel speed is only 25 miles an hour with these units, and we want to be able to do it safely and in a stable manner. And having suspension all the way around on this unit makes that possible. Looking at the midship location on the left-hand side of this street sweeper, there are 2 items here to talk about. First is our parking brake canister. Hydraulic pressure is applied to this and compresses a mechanical spring to release the parking brake. In the instance that we have an engine shutdown or the hopper is in the air, the hydraulic pressure is released from this canister, and then the parking brakes are automatically, gently, mechanically applied, bringing the operator to a safe stop. We also have our pickup broom suspension system, which is how we adjust the down pressure on the main broom. This is a self-compensating system that will auto-adjust through 90% of the wear life of the broom. Also on the left-hand side of the machine, we have our drive motor for our elevator system. This is a direct drive motor. Competitors will often use motors that are chain and sprocket driven. With a direct drive system, we reduce the required maintenance associated with those systems. And just like we have a hydraulic systems locker at the rear of the machine, we also incorporate an electronic system locker at the front of the machine. We have an exterior fiberglass door, and all of our electronics are housed in this interior box. This is powder-coated stainless steel. Inside this systems locker, you can see our layout. We have the relays on the left-hand side, electrical solenoids on the right-hand side, self-resetting circuit breakers, and our diodes are also out here. Our wiring is what you call home run wiring, meaning that from point A to point B, it is one piece of wire. It means we don't use butt connectors or splices. It's one piece of wire from one connector to the other. This entire wiring harness is built in-house at Global's facility in California, and it is hot stamped every 12 inches, not only with a code on it, but also the function as well. So that way, if we have to open up a wiring loom midway through the unit, we know what each wire does. Looking at the front steer axle on this unit, a couple things to point out. Again, this uses a Chalmers designed rubber bag type suspension. But what this dual wheel steering design also gives us is a 12.5-foot turning radius, which is by far and away the tightest in the industry for this segment of machine. This essentially means that on a tight 2-lane road, we can crank the wheel and pull a U-turn and go the other direction. Brown Equipment Company is committed to providing the right solution for your application, combined with our unparalleled service to meet your equipment needs.